The Blue Jewel.
Chapter 4. Part 2. Once the first night was over, the road became quite pleasant. They followed the advice of the smuggler, took the road closest to the mountains. Arian was confused. At the moment she did not trust her new companions at all. After all, they needed her to solve a situation that the young woman did not know if she was able to solve it. It was a real madness what she was doing, trying to cure a king who had executed the previous doctors. They had a good rhythm despite the three of them walking and the company of a mule to carry all their luggage. The one who opened the way was Gosberg with a smiling air, singing and talking with the birds and flowers. Then Arian walked strangely, observing the attitude of the Denka. The one who closed the group and guided Kiona was the half-orc who walked with his typical serious countenance. The young woman recognized that what the Denka sang was quite ingenious, but to the half-orc to hear the squeaky voice of the Denka throughout the day was a kind of hard penance. The landscape of the plains was beautiful and simple, full of great meadows and forests that were lost to infinity. Bir was a prosperous and peaceful kingdom. Away from the continuous wars in the south and east, since they abandoned the ideas of expansion to the north, the trade of their iron was their main asset. Much more since the dwarfs of the Dragon Dorsal decided not to trade with men except with the kingdom of Olbiana. The reasons for this decision were not very clear, but the truth is that the shortage of this mineral increased the tension between the kingdoms and was not good news. Who did not have supply problems was the Black Empire that was getting stronger. Soon, if it wanted, it could launch the conquest of new territories, further complicating the situation. Fortunately, the position of the emperor was not so stable as to embark on a great conflict. Even so, the rumors spoke of a great war in the not-so-distant future, like those suffered by Shanaris in the ancient eras, but after all they were just that, simple rumors. They had barely been traveling for a few days and were about to reach the equator of the journey. They camped on the side of some hills. They were in the least populated area of the kingdom and also the most dangerous. They had found some remains of abandoned cars, a sign of the presence of bandits in the area, but Gosberg said there was nothing to worry about. Before nightfall they set up camp, Arian and Agnorok watching as the fire danced to the sound of a light breeze. Agnorok heated some water in a cup that when the water started to boil added some herbs to the cup. "What is it?" Arian asked curiously, since I always saw him doing the same ritual every day at night. "Bitter black tea is a drink that provides a lot of energy. Can I try?" Arian was always willing to meet new plants and infusions. In fact, the best thing about the trip was to meet some new plants that did not grow so far north. The half-orc handed her the cup and the young woman tasted the drink. It had a harsh taste and her tongue itched a little, but the aftertaste at the end was very pleasant. Soon she began to feel comforted and relaxed. "Not bad. Where does the plant originate from?" "From the northwest, far from here. It is typical of the area where I grew up. It was the drink I took at night during the winter." "Where did you grow up?" asked Arian. I didn't know anything about the half-orc and now they could talk in a relaxed way. The half-orc took a long sip of the cup with his gaze lost on the horizon. "Very far from here, in a small village lost between the mist mountains called Vale Nevodo." Arian then thought of Caesarea, his home, sometimes missing it. "Do you miss him?" "Sometimes I won't deny that I miss him, at other times I don't. If I would like to come back someday, it is a possibility. Once I returned not too long ago. Well, I ended up fighting with an old friend." "Sorry." "Don't feel it, he deserved it." Agnorok sipped some of the contents of the cup again. They were silent for a moment. Agnorok was thinking. Nothing could be heard, not the singing of birds, not a noise. Agnorok began to get nervous. Arian noticed his partner's nervousness and they noticed a small detail that the two had gone totally unnoticed. "Where is Gosberg?" It was the straw that broke the camel's back. Agnorok tried to sit up and bring his hand to his sword, but it was too late. Something hit him in the head. The half-orc felt the blood begin to gush from his head and then fell round to the ground. Arian tried to scream, but it was also too late. What they did not know was that the prosperity of the Kingdom of Beer had also attracted an incipient number of bandits who engaged in the lucrative business of raiding merchants on the route from Xeres to Tame. The king cared little for the moment about the safety of the northern road as long as the number of attacks was not significant and the important caravans were always well protected. In the end, those who suffered the assaults were the poor devils whom no one took into account.